Hi there, YC. We are going to talk about the third commandment. So if we want to look at our 10 commandments, of course we find those in our small catechism with African descent reflections. And the third commandment is on page 17 in our book. So we look at the third commandment, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And I want to invite you to read through the reflection on the third commandment. One line in particular that I want us to focus on with this particular commandment. Human beings need rest. With nearly all these other commandments, we are going to be talking primarily about how we respect others, how we love others, how we care for the people in our midst, how we take care of people who are vulnerable, who are oppressed, who have been silenced. One way that we can respect God, respect our neighbors, is also to respect ourselves, to understand that there are times when we need rest. There are times when we need to step away from our responsibilities of work. It talks about in this reflection that the seventh day that God declares is a day of rest, all the way back in the first creation story. That God does this not because God needs rest, but because we need a break. You know, the whole idea of a 5-day work week and taking 2 days off, not that everything is based on Scripture, but it does have a bit of an understanding that we get tired, we get worn out. Now I understand. Some of us, people in our families, we're not able to take a break because of, we have low-wage jobs, or because of the nature of our job. Maybe we have a job that we work 7 days a week, and then we get a day or two off, and then we work another 7 or 8 days, and maybe get a day or two off. The idea is finding ways to rejuvenate ourselves, to re-energize ourselves, to find again what it is that we care about, what we love, and in particular, as we talk about loving God, we also talk about loving ourselves. That's a vital part of our relationship with God, is that we take care of ourselves. And it's also a vital part of resilience. It's how we're able to endure the hardships, the trials, and the frustrations that come across our lives, because they're going to keep coming. But if we have inner strength, if we trust in our abilities, if we trust in the things that we love to do, if we're able to identify ourselves, then we can much more easily find ourselves in the midst of those hard moments, those difficult, painful days. We can still find a way to stand upright and say, I am who I am. So as we're talking about the third commandment, in essence, what I want to invite us to do is think about how we rest. How do you rest? Or maybe another way to put it is, how do you find your energy? Where do you find your energy? Maybe you find your energy going to worship. I know, crazy idea, especially for us. But secretly, maybe you do, and that's okay. Maybe you find your energy out on the basketball court. Maybe you find your energy hanging out with friends. Maybe you find your energy writing or drawing or gardening. I find my energy in gardening. Maybe you don't, but that's me. I find my energy in a variety of different ways that are quite separate from what I do in my working life. Now, I love a lot of things that I do in my working life, including interacting with YC folk. But I need to step away too to find myself. So how do we find ourselves? 2 things. First one, of course, is going to be our reflection. Here's what I want to invite you to do. I want you to reflect on what you care about. I want you to spend some time thinking about what gives you energy. So I have a few questions that I want you to answer in this first part. For instance, if you could do anything in this moment other than have to endure watching this video, what would you be doing? Anything at all. It does not matter. Write it down. What would you be doing right now that gets you excited? Here's another question. At the end of your life, long ways out, what do you think people are going to talk about for you? How are they going to describe you? What are they going to describe that you did well, that was part of your identity? Give that some thought and write those things down. One more question. What do you like to talk about? What are the topics What are the ideas that generate the most thought in your mind, that keep you going, that you could probably stay up all night talking about and never notice, that you would lose absolute and total lack of time? What are the things that get you excited? Reflect on those. Give them some thought. Just spend some time. I have some other questions, but we'll look at those at a different moment. Second part. Grab your prayer books, as I always invite us to do. Find a blank page again. And maybe on that blank page, write down some of your answers to these questions and think about how God is at work in those answers. Like what you enjoy talking about. How might God be working through you through those topics? Or when you're imagining who you will be 30 years from now, 40, 50 years from now, how will God be influencing your life at that point as well? So the first one is those multiple questions, which will be outlined at the end of the video. The second part, reflect on how God gives you energy. And, pray about it. Keep taking care of yourselves, YC, and we will talk again.